baseball. Some kids were afraid of the ball. I was terrified of that dodge. Yes, thank you. Our neighborhood was so rough, one day a bully gave me a bloody nose. And he wouldn't tell me who it belonged to. Every morning the third graders would drag me out onto the playground, beat me up, take my lunch money. And you have no idea how humiliating it is to have to come home at the end of the day and try to explain this to my wife. Well, my wife told me she's pregnant for the second time. I said, well, that's great, but I heard you the first time. So I have a fear of being confined in a tiny little room with Kris Kringle, which of course is known as Santa Claustrophobia. Oh yeah, you try it. You come up here next. Okay. So I bought a book about attention deficit disorder. So far I've read chapters 1, 5, 3, and 7. I took a photograph of a manic depressive. Of course I used a bipolaroid camera. Probably surprised you to know this, but I'm on a variety of medications. Share the wealth. I'll see you after the show here. One prescription is to treat my obsessive compulsive disorder. It's a 1 milligram pill, and I take it 1,000 times a day. I have a prescription to treat my paranoia, but I refuse to take it until everybody stops staring at me. Thank you. My psychiatrist gave me some pills to cure my hallucinations, but I can't get any of them to take it. In the late fall, I take a time-released antidepressant for my seasonal depression, and I'll be damned, 6 months later it kicks right in. I always like to wear camouflage when I take LSD. That way I can see God, but He can't see me. I really struggled with some suppositories the pharmacist sold me. Probably would have been a good idea if he told me to take them out of the box first. So I've actually had people try to accuse me of being an incompetent pilot, but actually specialize in doing skywriting using invisible ink. Homeland Security put me on their no-fly list. Now I feel sorry for all those other passengers who have to sit there covered in flies. Okay, there we are. You're there, you're with me. So I walked into an outdoor supply place and I said, I'm getting ready to do some deep woods camping, so I'm going to need some supplies. Salesperson said, well, you're probably going to want to start by getting a pair of snake boots. And I said, look, I may have never been camping before, but even I know snakes don't wear boots. Thank you. I'm going with this lady over here. She's keeping me going. So my employer asked me if I'd be interested in a 401k. I said, you are crazy. I said, there ain't no way you're going to get me to run any 249 miles.
Still doing the math.
So it's still doing the math. Yes, sir. That's what it comes out to. Kilometers, yes, sir. So To help me find my career path, I took the Myers-Briggs test. And it confirmed that I like security, spying, and sexy women. So I ended up joining the Victoria's Secret Service. The other day I was in the middle of a job interview when the human resource person leaned forward, interrupted me, looked me in the eye and said, "Scott, you should know we do random drug testing." I said, "No way, you're kidding." I said, "Me too." I said, "As a matter of fact, I'm kind of tested right now." Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I hope they're all good ones. Jeez. So I'm skipping over. I'm editing some in here for your sake. So I watched a subliminal documentary about amnesia. Now I'm just trying to find a hypnotist to help me find out if I liked it. I signed up for a mind control course I saw in the newspaper, but then I couldn't convince my brain to drive me to it. You there? Thank you. Okay. Well, I have some sad news to share with you. Mr. Peanut died the other day. Yeah. Turns out he was allergic to himself. Captain Crunch was murdered, victim of a serial killer. You know, sometimes it's also bad luck to see the bride after the wedding. Thank you. So for our 7th anniversary, my wife said to just get her something practical. So I got her a book called Surviving Infidelity. So now I was standing right near my mother-in-law when she took a bad fall and broke her leg. She was laying there on the ground, looking up at me, and she said, "Well, don't just stand there, do something." So I shot her. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. She didn't break her leg. Now, when I went to visit her in the hospital, she was still mouthing off to me. So to make sure she stayed on her best behavior, I hooked up her life support machine to the clapper. And I'll close with this last one. I'm the one who bought and paid for my mother-in-law's grave and her headstone, and I go there every day to pray, to meditate, and to reflect on the fact that someday she'll be buried there. Thank you guys very much. I want to thank Mark, Eileen, and Chuck, and Russ Never Sleeps will play again later on. Thanks for letting me perform. I appreciate it. Thank you.